Situation in Syria getting much more serious and much more violent. It doesn't seem like the Assad regime has much time left. So what happens next? Joining us now is Zuhdi Jasser. He's the author of A Battle for the Soul of Islam. Dr. Jasser, always welcome. Good to see you again. I know you're a Syrian immigrant. Syria is the country, certainly of your own family, I believe. What are your contacts telling you about the likely train of events in Syria? Is Assad finished, gone?
Well, he's certainly on his way. I don't know if it's a tipping point, but Stuart, certainly it was a turning point yesterday to see not only the Secretary of Defense Minister, but his deputy, who was also the husband of Assad's wife, be killed. And it was really a sign that they have, the Free Syria Army has great intelligence information. That bomb was placed in a building in Rauda where they have very little access from the Free Syria Army. So they have some people working on the inside, and they're getting good information. So they're breaking that inner circle. But remember, Stuart, in Iraq, we had 50-plus generals that were on playing cards that we had to get in order to know that the Ba'athist regime was done there. In Syria, it's no different. You've got over 500,000 troops. You've got generals and ministers. Assad is now bringing in his troops closer to Damascus. He's consolidating his core. He knows that he's starting to see it fall apart. The defections have been multiplying.
Okay.
So I'd say we were talking in the matter of years. Now it's probably weeks, if not months.
Will he use chemical weapons on his own people?
You know, this is the frightening thing. I
want your judgment, because his father did. I forgot the name of the town where he used them, killed 5,000 people. I know that. What's your judgment? Would Assad Jr. do that?
There's nothing that I would put past Assad, in that these type of animals will do anything possible to stay in power. The way they're killing innocent children and women at point-blank range and burning them and torturing them, why would chemical weapons be beyond that? I would also not put it past them to start firing Scuds into Israel, into other countries, in order to inflame the region. And this is why we really have to keep close to understanding what's happening. The Free Syria Army is doing unbelievably courageous work, but they're not organized. It's becoming more and more chaotic. We have to start giving them more intel, and we have to understand that we may need to do like we did in Kosovo, like we've done in Libya and elsewhere, in order to make sure that it just doesn't implode, because you've got Iran and Russia trying to...
I'm sorry, I'm very limited time. What's your best guess on what comes next? An Islamist regime?
Well, that's one of the fears, is that we may see a ascendancy like we saw in Egypt of the Brotherhood type regime.
I want your judgment, Doctor. I want your judgment. What do you think's going to happen? Tell me.
I think in the short term you'll see significant Islamist influence. I think in the long term the Syrian population is very pluralistic, and you will see over the next generation an evolution of liberal democracy like my family and so many other Syrians.
Okay, I've got to ask this last question. Do you think that Islam is compatible with any kind of democracy that I would recognize as a democracy in Syria?
Certainly the Islam that I know, that my family knows, that so many millions of Syrians believe in, yes. Is it the majority opinion? This is the struggle, the battle for the soul of what's evolving in these convulsions in Egypt and Syria and elsewhere. And if we don't take the sides of liberty, the Islamists that are funded by the Saudis, by the Iranians, will win, and Islam will not be compatible. We have to believe that it is, that Muslims can go through that same evolution that the West went through in our revolution and our enlightenment in the West.
Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, you're a frequent contributor to this program, and we welcome you on this show. Thank you, sir.